Hey there, folks. It's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ Stocks, crypto assets, and interviews. It is Saturday. I hope you're having a great weekend. It's November 5th. And in this video, going to be doing a live stream, obviously. You're going to be doing an Ask Me Anything. And if anybody does have any ticker requests, I wanted to come on, do a public video. And I'm going to be taking some vacation next week as well. So I wanted to come on and prepare everybody for next week. We have a big week ahead with the U.S. elections in the midterms, and we know that we could potentially start to see a bottom here, a temporary bottom being set in the broader market and in the crypto space as well. But before we get to it, smash the like, help support me on the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff. You'll be notified whenever I go live or whenever I post a video. But going to share my screen here. Again, if anybody does have any ticker requests, make sure to drop them in the live chat, and let's go. See, we already have some people joining the live stream, so welcome. Appreciate you joining us today, and going to jump into today's content. Like I said, going to do an Ask Me Anything. We'll do a quick market update, and then we'll prepare for next week. We have a big week ahead. I do think that we could see a little bit more weakness in the broader market. And again, if you do have any ticker requests, just let me know. I also did post a video just a few minutes ago, and it was called TXY Monthly Consolidation, Massive End of Year Rally in the stock and crypto space, right? So this is the most important chart right now, is the dollar, the DXY, the US dollar currency index. We haven't consolidated really on the monthly time frame in about 10 months. And I do think that we could see a massive end of year rally here with all signs pointing to, all systems pointing to go mode, right? And we know that risk off has been the appetite. And I think that leading into the end of the year, we're going to see a massive end of year rally and a risk on appetite. But I do think that the next rally in the crypto space and in the stock market is going to be for selling. I don't think that now is the time to go long, to go bullish on long-term positions, unless it's certain assets. So for me, I'm only comfortable going long on certain altcoins right now and the MJ space, because we know that the MJ space hasn't really participated in this everything bubble. So I'm being very selective with my longs, and I've been hedging with a short position on the S&P 500 for a while now. And that's why I've been so adamant and shouting from the rooftops that we needed to protect our long positions. And again, at the end of the day, no one really knows for sure if, we're going to have the biggest stock market crash in history into 2023. But I think there's a very, very high probability when the S&P 500 goes up 120%, 125% in 2 years. We're accustomed to 12% worth of gains in the average annual return. So if we got 10 years worth of gains condensed into 2 years, might we all think that we could potentially have one of the biggest crashes in history? And again, I'm not here to spread FUD or to create, panic or fear or anything like that. I'm just telling you how I see it and what I think is the most likely scenario. So I did mention this earlier, but I am going to be going on vacation. So my girlfriend and I are going to be going to Vancouver next week. So I'm going to be leaving on Tuesday, and then I'll be back on Friday. So I'm probably not going to be doing videos between Tuesday and Friday, but I should be able to get a video on Monday, maybe one on Tuesday in the morning. We'll see. But just as a heads up, probably won't be posting as much next week. I may take my computer with me, so if something does happen, unfortunate timing, unfortunately, because we have the midterms and everything. But essentially, the way I'm playing the market right now, I'm not too concerned about either direction. So we could potentially, typically, we see a run up into the elections, and then we see a sell off after the elections, and that lines up with my thinking as well, that we could see DXY sometime this month or next month see some weakness on the monthly time frame. And if we take a look at SPY and the .com fractal that has been following very, very similarly, it says that we could potentially be setting a bottom between now and mid-November, which again lines up with that thinking that we could potentially see a bit of a sell-off after the midterm elections. But I am super bullish on MJ into the end of the year. We know that the lame duck session could potentially bode well for MJ stocks. And if you're not familiar with what a lame duck session is, it's essentially the days that are remaining from after the election and the midterms into the end of the year, right? So it's generally before we have a switch in power, but after those elections, it's referred to as a lame duck session. And I think that has the highest probability of seeing either descheduling in MJ. We could potentially get safe banking and uplisting to the NYSE and the NASDAQ, all of which would be extremely bullish for the MJ space. So again, quite a few people joining us here now, so thank you for joining the live stream. If you do have any questions for me, let me know. I'm going to do an Ask Me Anything. Going to try to keep this around 30 minutes, 45 minutes tops. And then if you have any ticker requests, let me know and we can dive into those as well. But something else that I wanted to highlight here also is on the DXY, we're likely due for monthly consolidation over the next 1 to 2 months, in my opinion. It's been almost a full year since we've seen any monthly pullback. And what do we know about, stocks when things go straight up with no support? It's usually an elevator down, right? And the similar thing happened with TrueLeave. If we look at the monthly time frame from the March 2020 lows for C19, we went straight up in a straight line with no monthly support, and then we gave the whole thing back. So the DXY could be a similar type of scenario where we go all the way up with no support on the monthly time frame, and then we give it all back. So again, we don't know for sure, but I would say it's about an 80 to 90% probability that over the next 1 to 2 months, we're going to see the DXY break these monthly inside bars bearish and then come down and test EMA 12 and 26. Potentially they're around 105, 100. 100 is also a nice round psychological number. We're heavily overbought on the monthly RSI timeframe as well. And if you don't know anything about technical analysis, if you just, place this RSI indicator into your charts and, don't buy essentially when we're here because we're overbought, and then look to add when we're down here on any of our names. The dollar, obviously you want to go, you want to short the dollar when we're heavily overbought like that, especially on a macro level time frame like the monthly time frame. But something I want to highlight here as well, and why I'm so bullish on altcoins leading into the end of the year here, is that we have a monthly bear flag on the Bitcoin dominance. So the Bitcoin dominance we started the monthly bounce, but we didn't get over the 0.32 fib. And right now it's a monthly bear flag targeting 34%. We also have a descending triangle here on the monthly time frame, which means that we could potentially see even more weakness. So not only do we have a monthly bear flag, and again, this is all technical analysis is we look at all of what the indicators and patterns and technical charts are saying. And then if we can see 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 different, the more the better, obviously. But if we're looking at any direction, whether it be to the upside or the downside, bullish, bearish, the more indicators and signals and technical patterns that we have pointing to one particular direction, the more confident we are of that playing out. And technical analysis isn't a blueprint. It's not a playbook. It's just a law of probability, right? And right now, we have a monthly bear flag. In order to confirm it, we need to lose 38.84% on the dominance. And if we lose that, then it will be monthly bear flag confirmed. Then we're targeting 34%, but we're also seeing further follow through on the monthly descending triangle, which would mean that the target, if you take the high to the low here and extrapolate that out, it's saying that we could potentially go as low as 30% on the Bitcoin dominance. And again, if that were to occur, altcoins could go absolutely ballistic into the end of the year. So that's why right now I'm the most bullish on altcoins, and then MJ for my long-term positions. But I'm not just, a deer in the headlights. I'm hedging with an S&P 500 short. I did add some SPXS, which is an inverse 3x leverage ETF. So when SPY goes down 1%, SPXS should go up in theory 3%. There is some decay though, so we don't recommend holding that long-term. If you're going to hold a long-term position, short position on the S&P 500, we recommend just using actual short shares with your broker. So again, very bullish on altcoins in the end of the year. I own more crypto dollar-wise than I do MJ or anything else at the moment. Well, I guess my real estate portfolio here in Edmonton, but only bullish on select real estate as well. So the Edmonton condo market has been beaten down for the last 15 years. You can get condos here for anywhere from like $70,000 to $100,000. There's no shortage of them. The condo I'm living in at the moment, where I'm coming to you live, I paid $70,000 for it. And then I just bought another condo for an Airbnb, and I got that fully furnished for $125,000. So it's pretty unheard of at the moment. So very bullish on real estate. I've got my real estate portfolio. I've got my mutual funds. Pretty much 95% of my mutual funds are now into money market. So just basically like a cash position. So very, very low risk and mostly bonds. And then, like a balanced portfolio, for example, would be 60% equities, 40% bonds and whatnot. So not into those aggressive funds. I'm about 95% into those cash funds, into the money market. And I'm going to be in that cash position for the foreseeable future, at least for the next 1 to 2 years, more than likely. And again, looking at the DXY, looking at the .com fractal for SPY, it's saying that we could see the DXY potentially top out and start monthly consolidation, some huge momentum shift and weakness into the next 1 to 2 months. That lines up well with my thinking that we could see an alt season going into the end of the year as well, because of the fact that we have all of this Bitcoin dominance pointing to more weakness. So again, very, very bullish on altcoins. I own more crypto dollar-wise than I do MJ, and I'm going to be looking to switch that. So into the end of the year here, leading into potential January, February, I think altcoins are going to go on a massive run. They're going to top out, excuse me, they're going to top out at the beginning part of 2023. And then the whole market's going to essentially go in free fall is what I'm anticipating. So I'm going to be using the next rip in the stock market and in the crypto space to unload. And I'm going to be using that exit liquidity to just de-risk, right? And then I'm going to be looking to take those profits from altcoins and roll them into more beaten down MJ. And I'm going to be looking to add more to my short positions on the S&P 500 for the long term, because you just have to tell yourself, right? We don't know for sure. The only guarantee is there's no guarantees. But what if something like this does happen? What if we do see a repeat of the .com fractal, where we see about a 50% pullback from all-time highs? And I would argue that this could be even worse of a crash, because of the fact that we had, in 2 years, we had 10 years worth of gains on the S&P 500. So the .com fractal is saying that we could be targeting 230s on the S&P 500, maybe even as low as 200. So again, there's no need to, I see so many people like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do if the stock market goes, what if the S&P 500 goes to that level? And a lot of people are stressing out, but there's no need to stress, right? You just need to prepare for all scenarios. So prepare for things to go higher, prepare for things to go lower. If you're long and you're a little bit concerned, maybe you want to sell a little bit. Again, I'm not telling you to buy, sell, or hold. This is for entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. This is just my own prerogative and perspective. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be very, very cautious. I'm going to be hedging my long positions with a short position on the S&P 500, and that's how I sleep at night, right? And I also have diversification in my portfolio. So I own mutual funds, I own real estate, I own MJ stocks, I own crypto, right? So, and then I'm hedging with an S&P 500 short position. I've also got a ton of cash. I've got a 6-figure cash position still that I'm going to be using to buy this dip. So again, another way to do it would be to de-risk. So if you got a little bit more money than you think you want to have into a particular stock or a particular sector, maybe you want to consider, and you don't have any cash on the sides, maybe you want to consider on the next leg up and the next stock market rally, potentially into the end of the year, like I'm expecting, maybe you want to de-risk a little bit, and maybe you could look at potentially selling 25%, 50% of that, and then look to reload cheaper. Again, not telling you what to do. I'm just saying there's ways to prepare for it, right? And again, I'm not here to spread FUD. I'm not here to, to make everybody worried and, finger biting all the way into the end of the year, into next year, right? We know that Elon Musk said that the recession could last well into 2024. And I think that we're going to potentially enter a Great Depressionary state where we could potentially see the worst stock market crash in history. And that's not unfounded, right? We know that the amount of gains that we've seen in the stock market, not just the stock market, it was the real estate, right? The everything bubble of 2022. So again, I see a lot of people just kind of put their head in the sand and, take that approach, but we have to be realistic and we have to look at all scenarios, right? So the only way the markets can only do one of 3 things, up, down, or sideways. So as long as your portfolio is prepared for that, there's no reason to stress or be, to worry, right? So jumping into the questions here. So finally able to catch a live stream. You bet. Thanks for joining us. I'm interested in crypto mining companies like Hut and Mara, etc. Yeah, so those are starting to show some signs of a reversal as well. Let's bring up Hut here for you. So let's go over here. So we'll look at Hut. So we are potentially set for a monthly trend change here. So you can see low, high, higher, low. We're trying to form a higher low now compared to the double bottom there at 165. So we had 166, the next month 165. So double bottom there, nice entry going off of that double bottom, fairly low risk. And you could have just allowed, maybe 5-10% worth of wiggle room and then set a stop. But right now we have the low, high, higher, low. You could even enter with a stop below that low at 165, but that's fairly high risk at the moment, right? You're risking about 40%. So at the moment, if you're not in this name, maybe you want to try and get it a little bit closer to support. We do have support there at 225 after 225. Like I said, nice strong support there at that double bottom at 165. But we could see a potential monthly trend change with the low, high, higher low, and higher high. So now we're just lacking the higher high. So in order to get that higher high, we need to break this resistance here at the high of the monthly bounce of 477. If we break 477 from here while holding that 165 double bottom, then we're back in a monthly uptrend, and we could see a massive, massive end of review rally on HUT, potentially all the way back up to all-time highs with a lack of resistance on the monthly until $20.61. And you said you were also interested in Mara. So Mara, again, monthly trend change opportunity here with the low, high, higher low, and higher high. Then we go over to Riot. Riot, low, high, looking for that higher low and higher high. We had that descending triangle. And again, I was telling people for many, many months, I said, you know, we went from 50 cents on Riot all the way up to $79. So from March 2020 lows to February 2021, we went up 150x, so 15,000%. So obviously monthly RSI was at 92, so extremely overbought, almost as much, the most overbought that you can potentially get, right? And then we had this descending triangle forming. And if you take the high to the low here and you extrapolate that out like I just did, or like I did many months ago, you can see here that we were targeting about $5. And look where we hit. We actually hit a low of $4.02. So technical analysis does work. You just need to know how to use it, right? Anybody who tells you that technical analysis doesn't work or it's for fools, they're just, they have no idea what they're talking about, right? You just need to know how to use the tools that are given to you. And it's not a guarantee. It's just probabilities, right? And the probability of this breaking down is very, very high, this technical chart pattern. And the likelihood of it playing out with monthly RSIs at 92, and we're in a massive, we just ran 150x. Well, I would say that like over a 90% probability rate that this was going to occur. And that's why I was super bearish on these names. And now's the time where you can start to get bullish again, right? So you're looking for that monthly trend change. We also have Hive, and it was a descending. And again, the more confluence, there was a descending triangle here as well. So not just on Riot, but on on Hive. So that added more confluence, right? The more things that we have pointing in a certain direction, and the more names that are doing it, the more sectors that are doing it, or you know what I mean? When the broader market was weak, the Fed was starting to raise interest rates, inflation going through the roof. We had the geopolitical tensions with war in Ukraine and Russia, right? So everything was pointing to more downside. And then we had like 150x worth of gains on Riot. We were heavily overbought on the monthly time frame. And then we had multiple descending triangles that confirmed. And again, if you take that high to the low and you bring that out, it's saying that we were targeting about 350, and we hit a low of 282. Here we are testing that at 280. So Hive could be a nice entry here. Like I said, look at HUT, look at Mara, look at Riot, all looking to potentially change their monthly trends. Riot's right at support, right? Look how far away, say, like Mara is from its support, right? We could easily drop another 40%. Same with HUT. And then you got Riot. How far away? It's a little bit closer to its support. So if we take a look at the 27%. So Hive, in my opinion, is probably the best opportunity here just from a technical perspective, because we already are near support. So we had the low there at 282, and now we're hitting 280. So you could look to enter here with a stop. Say you could even set 269, 260, and then look to allow a little bit of wiggle room, right? So essentially you enter now near support. If you set even your stop below 250, you're risking about 10 to 15% to make upwards of 1 to 200% if we do just get back to the monthly resistance, right? But we are in monthly downtrends. And we already had that monthly EMA 12 and 26 bear cross occur, which is good. We got that out of the way. And then same with Riot, already had its monthly bear cross. So again, it's looking like we could see a massive rally here into the end of the year. And once we confirm these monthly uptrends, that would mean that we would likely be due for multiple hundreds of percent to the upside potentially. So I think that Hive is probably the best one, just looking at it from a technical perspective, because we are closer to that support. I don't really have any favorites or anything like that, but just from a technical perspective, Hive looks really, really good. And if we see alt season go off into the end of the year, Hive primarily mines Ethereum, right? So if we see altcoins go crazy, that could bode well for a name like Hive. But hopefully that helped on the HUT chart. But it's looking, and again, already had its monthly EMA 12 and 26 bear cross as well. specifically HUD. Yep. So hopefully let me know if that makes sense and if that helps, or if you need me to clarify anything. All right, let's take a look. So LEV, ZEC, and XLM. So LEV is the Lion Electric Company, so another electric car company. So monthly bounce is underway after having broken last month's high at 321, and we got a high of 336 so far. But we are in a monthly downtrend still with lower highs and lower lows. But the monthly bounce is underway, and we have no resistance until 566 in terms of the price action. And then we also have EMA 12 there, that yellow line at 604. So the monthly bounce is underway. We could easily see a move back up to around that $5 to $6, in my opinion, if we set a bottom in the broader market as well. But this is one of those names that just got absolutely destroyed in the bear market. And we hit a low of 236, right? So I think this is going to be a great company for the future, though. Very bullish on it in the long term. It's one of the names that I'll be looking to add as well. But let's look at the weekly time frame. We are seeing increasing bull volume, and look at the stochastic and the MACD starting to cross bullish. And we closed above the 10-week moving average there at 308. And we have no weekly resistance all the way up till 566 either. So no weekly resistance, no monthly resistance. Very, very bullish close here into last week. This thing's looking ready to fly, to be honest. We just need that broader market, to all systems go. And if we can get the broader market to set a bottom, then we're going to get those headwinds. We're going to get those tailwinds, right? Oops, let me go back to LEV. What happened there? And we have no resistance on the 50 weekly moving averages until 624. So again, I could easily see this thing back up to $5 to $6 here into the end of the year if we get all systems go and we set our bottoms in the S&P 500 and the broader market. And then, like I said, get a Fed pivot as well into the end of the year. Here we are getting above the 50-day moving average as well. That was at 315, and we closed the day over 315. So it's looking really, really good. We also have the 200-day moving average there at 555. So again, lining up with my thinking that we could see this thing at $5 to $6 here into the end of the year. A lot of their names are going to start to trend back toward their 200-day moving averages, in my opinion. And we had the death cross here with the 50 coming down above the 200, crossing down through it. That's called a death cross, when the shorter term time frame moving averages are above the longer term and they come down and cross through it, specifically the 50 and the 200-day moving average. That's called a death cross. And then if it were to occur on the opposite side, if the shorter term, in this case, the 50 is below the 200 and it comes and it crosses up through the 200, that's called a golden cross, which could happen over the next few months. So hopefully that helps. Let's take a look at ZEC real quick. So ZEC USD. So already got that monthly EMA 12 and 26 bear cross out of the way. We are still in monthly downtrends, but this one's a little bit weaker. Lower high and lower low, so we're seeing more follow through to the downside there on that monthly downtrend. But it is a monthly inside bar at the moment. So one way to play this is, and it's pretty tight range, so fairly low risk. So what I would recommend doing, if you're not already in this name, again, not telling you to buy, sell, or hold. This is for entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. But if we broke, you could even set a stop buy that if we break above 58.13 resistance, then you buy it. And then you look for a back test of those EMAs around $83 to $90, right? And then, if we lose support there at 47.42, then we continue the monthly downtrend, monthly continuation to the downside. So very, very simple trade, right? You could set a stop loss. You could even enter now with a stop below $47, or you could wait for a break of $58 resistance and then look to target that $80 to $90 area, which lines up with our EMAs. Right? Or you could wait a little bit, try to get it closer to that $47 support, but we're at $54, so fairly low risk, right? Essentially, even if you just entered now, you're risking about 15% to make upwards of 50 to 70%, right? So it's looking pretty good. We're bullish on the MACD and the stochastic, but we didn't close over the 10-week moving average there at 55.92. So if we close over 55.92 in the next couple of weeks, that would look really, really good. Stochastic crossing bullish here as well. So the macro level time frame indicator is looking really, really good at the moment. We are seeing a bear across of the 50 and the 100 weekly, and we could see a bear across of the 50 and the 200 weekly. So that's something to be aware of. That generally means that we could see some weakness, especially when it's on the weekly time frame. In terms of the daily time frame, we're still struggling with the 50-day moving average there at 53.80, but we did close above it, 54.43. And like I said, a lot of names starting to trend back to their 200-day moving average, and 74 is the 200-day moving average. Again, lines up with my thinking that we could see this thing back around the $80 area with the EMAs on the monthly time frame. And we're not that far away from a golden cross occurring here on ZEC. So looking pretty good. XLM. Just bring it up here, actually, XLM. So XLM, one of those names that hasn't hit its all-time high. And if we take the fib extension tool and we go from high to the low, the bear market, and look at the fib extensions, just like Ethereum and Bitcoin did. So Ethereum, Bitcoin, they both hit their extensions. So you can go from high to the low. You can see here we hit the 3.618. We actually get above it on Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin did it, and Ethereum did it, and we know that they're the leaders in the space, high to the low, and it hit its 3.618. So if XLM, like I said, we see a full-fledged alt season in the end of the year. If XLM just does what Ethereum and Bitcoin did and hit its 3.618, that means we could potentially see about 372 here on XLM into the end of the year. We already had that monthly EMA 12 and 26 bear cross as well. And this thing's looking real good. Another really good, easy setup. Look how tight we are on the monthly time frame. We got 4 inside bars in a row, essentially. We broke below it by about 2 pennies, not even 2 pennies. It was 0.2 of a penny. So fairly low risk entering this now with a stop below even 9 cents or 9.9 cents. And like I said, if we do go back to that fib extension tool, that 3.618, which is a common level to be targeting in new price discovery and a new all-time high in bull market, that's about 30x from current levels. So great risk to reward. I'm super bullish on XLM, the MoneyGram partnership, and utility coins going into the end of the year and into 2023. We know that, and then 2024 into the Bitcoin halving. We also know that ISO 2022 is going to go into effect into 2025. And Japan said that pretty much all banks will be using that by an XRP, and XLM's kind of the front-facing one, right? And XLM also doing a lot of work with CBDCs, so central bank digital currencies. I think XLM is a hidden gem for sure. So it's looking really good. In terms of weekly time frame, we closed. Actually, we didn't close yet because the weekly time frame we don't close until tomorrow. So in terms of the weekly candle, we got 1 day, 2 hours left. So if we can close over 11 cents this week, it's looking really good. But we're still a ways away from seeing a bull cross on the stochastic. MACD still bullish though. So I want to see that black line get above the red line for the stochastic, and then a candle close over 11 cents this week. But again, not ruling out that we could see one more potential leg down in the broader market and in the crypto space leading into these November 8th elections, because typically we do see weakness after the elections and then a massive rally afterward. And again, lining up with my thinking that we could see on the weekly time frame on the S&P 500 with the .com fractal that's been following to a T, we could potentially set a bottom mid-November, and then into December, January, see a massive end-of-year rally. So again, looking like we could see a little bit more weakness in the short term, and then over the next few weeks, and then a massive rally into the end of November, into December, and beginning part of 2023. And we know that Twitter getting bought out by Musk, he could integrate a ton of different cryptos into the platform as well, and that guy likes to surprise us. So who knows, maybe he could be Santa Claus this year. But we are seeing a bear cross of those weekly moving averages on XLM as well. Again, adding a little bit more confluence to the fact that we could see more downside. How far are we from seeing a golden cross on XLM? Very, very close. 50 is below the 200, and we are only a penny away in the difference. So we could easily see this golden cross occur over the next several weeks and a couple of months, in my opinion. But looking really good. And then if we close a daily candle over 12 cents, not only if we close the weekly, but if we close the daily and the weekly candle over 11 cents, 12 cents, this thing could easily rip back to 15 to 20 cents, in my opinion. But like I said, this name hasn't hit its all-time high. It's been left out of the massive rally because it's so correlated. It's literally a spit image of the XRP ledger, right? So the people who created XRP, Jed McCaleb was one of them, and then he had a falling out with Ripple and didn't really like the way they were going, and didn't really want to do the enterprise thing. And then he went and created XLM, which is just a copy of the XRP ledger code. And then they burnt a lot of the supply, half the supply there. So it's got about half the supply, but very bullish on both of those leading into the end of the year. So hopefully that helps. You think Tilray is going to lift off this winter? Yeah, I do think that MJ as a whole, so the whole MJ sector into this lame duck session, we know that Biden probably has the highest chance through an executive order of getting things passed. We know that he's already pardoning simple MJ possessions. We know that the November 8th midterms are coming up next week. And after that midterms, like I said, we generally see some weakness. So don't be surprised if we see broader market weakness over the next 1 to 2 weeks. And then that would translate to some weakness in the MJ space. But that will be a buying opportunity, in my opinion, for MJ stocks, because after the midterm elections into the end of the year, that's what's called a lame duck session. And that's where we have the highest probability and chances of getting something passed, either through form of descheduling, so rescheduling from a Schedule 1 drug, into potential safe banking getting passed. We know that I did a video not that long ago, what was it, a couple of days ago, on Chuck Schumer. And I know you got to kind of take what he says with a grain of salt, but Schumer says Congress is very close to passing MJ banking bill and expungement bill. So again, we know that a lot of we can't really listen to what they say. Actions speak louder than words. And so far, they just left us with a bunch of empty promises. But I do think that Tilray, very, very strong. We're still in a daily uptrend with these higher lows and higher highs, higher low, higher high, perfect double bottom there. I even called out what a great trade that was. We had the 283 support USD on the NASDAQ, and we hit 283 several days later to the penny. And if you entered there with that on that double bottom, you would have seen almost a 50% run after that. So that's why technical analysis can be very beneficial. We held the daily uptrend, and it was a perfect daily double bottom. And then we went straight back into resuming the uptrend with the higher low, higher high, higher low, and higher high. And we even held that higher low there at 345. We got as low as 349. And then we broke to a higher high from 409. We got as high as 419. So Tilray looks extremely strong on the daily time frame. And then on the monthly time frame, we're still in a monthly downtrend, though, with lower highs and lower lows. So the key resistance to get above is 452. If we break 452 from here, we're no longer in a monthly downtrend. And then we'll scout the monthly trend change back to the bulls with a higher low and higher high. We need monthly higher lows and higher highs to be confident that we're no longer in a bear market and we're entering a potential multi-year new bull market. Yeah, I do think that we could see Tilray, because of the fact that if we get any positive reform or changes to MJ, Tilray is the poster child of, the Wall Street bankers' favorite. That's where all the big money plays. And if people in the US, retail investors, everyday investors, they find out that, MJ is starting to change in the political outlook and regulation with regards to MJ is changing favorably, then a lot of these names they can't buy, right? They can't buy those OTC tickers. You got like the JP Morgans of the world that aren't allowing clients to buy OTC tickers. So, the Robin Hoods of the world, the Tilrays, the Sundials, the Hexos, the CGCs, the Canopies, those are the top ones that people are going to be buying on this news and this hype breaking, right? So very bullish into the end of the year on Tilray and MJ at large. Are you going to buy the $7.99 Twitter Blue and get that blue check for POW on Twitter? Thanks for that question. I haven't really thought about it too much, to be honest. I'm not the biggest fan of Twitter. I really dislike the fact that you can only post like a certain amount of, like, that just drives me bonkers that I can't, there's so many social platforms out there and a lot of them are pretty toxic, for lack of a better word. But that's why I created POW, because there's so much noise, there's so much misinformation, and it's hard to decipher everything, and it's very, like I said, it's very distracting, and there's a lot of noise. So for me, the platforms that I like the most are, well, essentially POW Group, because that's why I created POW Group, was to filter out all that noise. But I have the private community. We've got about 50 people in there now. So, more eyes on the market, the better. But in terms of Twitter, I don't use it a whole lot, to be honest with you. I probably would get it, though. I probably will get it, is what I should have said. But don't have a whole lot of impersonators, to be honest, at this level or at this stage in the game. I've got 3.58K subscribers, so getting close to 4,000 subscribers. And again, I tell the truth, and my channel will grow as fast as it will grow based on me telling the truth. I don't do clickbait. I don't do fluff. I don't, tell people what they want to hear. I tell them what they need to hear. And not everybody likes that, brutal honesty. And getting close to 500,000 views on my channel. So I've got tons of people reaching out to me for sponsorships now and everything like that. So I am starting to see the channel grow a lot in a short period of time and gain a lot of traction. So I'll announce that new channel sponsor here more than likely in the next couple of weeks. But sponsorships I think are great, right? It's just a testament to the channel growing. And a lot of people say, oh, he's shilling these sponsors, blah blah blah. He's making money off of us, blah blah blah. Well, what's wrong with that, right? People make money off of people all the time anyway. So if you're providing value, and if you're like, someone asked me the other day, where can I go buy XRP? And I said, Uphold. Go to About section, and I'm affiliated with Uphold, right? And I just don't see why people are so against giving people a little slice of the pie, right? So I mean, if not, it's just going to all go to Uphold. So, and we're all helping each other, right? So we all want everybody to succeed. But yeah, not the biggest fan of Twitter. Do not like that you can't, I go to all these other social platforms and I just want to copy and paste. And I copy and paste from like Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or all these other platforms, Reddit. And then Twitter's like, oh, you're 100 or 200 characters over the limit. And it's like, so then you have to go and you craft it. And then you have to do like multiple threads and tweets in one thread. It's just, I hope they change that. They're looking to add an edit button, which is great. That's annoying too. But yeah, I just, Twitter's just not user friendly for me. So if you guys, and to be honest, that I do not put a lot of focus on Twitter, but I probably should focus on it a little bit more. But like, again, now that Musk is taking over, I think that there's a lot of positive changes coming. It's going to become a crypto centric platform, I think, as well. And I'm going to probably support it a lot more here in the future. So to answer your question, yes, I probably will. Me too. I keep missing the live streams. My man, Rod, thanks for the great info as usual. Could you please go over the chart of CGC if you don't mind? Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for joining the stream, and my pleasure. Always happy to help. So yeah, CGC looking really, really good. We could potentially change the monthly and weekly trend change, the trend all in one go here. And we had the most volume ever on the NASDAQ. We also had the most volume ever on MSOS on the monthly time frame. You can see here. So it's looking really, really good in terms of those monthly time frames. And then if we go back to CGC, so CGC record monthly volume, usually volume precedes price. And like I said, no one would expect a monthly uptrend to confirm here. And again, we could see a little bit more weakness in the broader market, which would be headwinds for MJ. So don't be surprised if we pull back to, maybe even $2.50, maybe even $3 on CGC over the next couple of weeks, because typically we do see a sell-off after the midterm elections. But then I think we're going to see a massive rally into the end of the year. And that lame duck session will bode well for CGC. We know CGC just created a holdings company in the US to accelerate that US plan. I'm very bullish on CGC. They have BioSteel, which formed an official hydration partnership with the NHL and NHL Players Association. They have the Martha Stewart partnership, Stores and Bickle. Like this thing isn't going anywhere. You get people always saying like Canopy garbage, Canopy is not worth owning, blah blah blah. And it's like I just don't buy it, right? Like it's too big to fail at this point. And they're signing partnerships with the NHL Players Association. They just closed their retail locations, Tokyo Smoke and whatnot. So I think that was a complete wrong approach. Even Hexo SSL said that. Sebastian St. Louis, the CEO, they have long-term investments in Fire and Flower and SNDL. And they said that they believe that producers entering the retail space is the wrong move. And lo and behold, unless you're doing all that and only that, like the Fire and Flowers and the High Tides of the world, that's all they do is retail and only retail. Whereas, Sundial's getting into like alcohol retail now as well. So I'm not 100% sold on that one. But obviously that was the correct move in my opinion, because Canopy tried to do its own retail. And it was weird. I was in Canopy Grow's store, in a Tokyo Smoke store, and I asked the clerk, what products do you recommend and like the most? He said, I love Hexo products the most. I'm in a Canopy Growth owned store and they're recommending me Hexo products. So it's just like kind of cutting themselves, biting themselves in the foot, I guess. So I think them getting it at retail as well is going to be very beneficial. This new move into the US is very, very bullish. And like I said, who would expect a monthly uptrend to confirm on CGC? We got that all-time high record monthly volume. Volume usually precedes price. So if we could expect a price move, it's all about resistance here at 430. If we break 430 and hold support there at 213, we're back in a monthly uptrend and we could easily start to come back to those EMAs. I could easily see this thing at between $5 and $10 here into the end of the year. We have no monthly resistance all the way up to $15.96. And then those EMAs there at $6 and $11 respectively. So again, no one at all, in my opinion, would be expecting a monthly trend change on CGC. And we could change the monthly and weekly trend change all in one go here. And we could see an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross on the weekly time frame. It's looking really, really good. In terms of the weekly chart, we're still above the 10-week moving average, and we're bullish on the stochastic and the MACD. So again, not ruling out one more potential weakness into the next one leg down into the next week or two, but we got a ton of room, right? For the monthly time frame, we could drop from current levels. We could drop 34% and still just be looking for a monthly higher low. So don't be surprised if we pull back, 10 to 20% over the next couple of weeks into potential weakness in the broader market. And then, like I said, we could pull back a substantial amount, 36%, 35%, and still just be looking for a monthly higher low. And then as long as that support holds there, that 52-week low at 213, and then we start to trend higher and we break above 430, we're going to confirm a monthly uptrend. And what have I been saying for many months now is we're not confident that the bear market's over and we're entering a new bull market until we confirm monthly uptrends. And very high probability of this happening with U.S. legalization and reform potentially in the cards in a lame duck session into the end of the year. And then in terms of the weekly moving averages, we have nothing nearby there until the 50 weekly, and then up at $14, the 100, and the 200 there at $20. So like I said, lining up with my thinking that we could easily see this thing between $5 and $10 into the end of the year. I wouldn't even be surprised if this thing hit $20 on potential safe banking passing, descheduling, getting it rescheduled. Potentially on the same level as alcohol and tobacco, and then even uplisting in the US into the NYSE and the NASDAQ. And then we have golden crosses on the lookout for a lot of our names and not far away, right? And the 200-day moving average is there at around 477. So again, I do think that $5 is very doable. And then we could see a golden cross, right? We had the death cross here with the 50 above the 200, came down through that. That's called a death cross. So even if you exited there at $26, that would have saved you, $24 worth of downside. And now we're starting to see the 50 below the longer term, the 200 in this case. If that crosses through the 50 through the 200, that's going to be a golden cross. And look what happened the last time that happened. The last time we had a golden cross on CGC, we went from the 50 came down through the 200 up above through it. Once that golden cross occurred, it happened here in November of last year, of 2020. And then, so we went, once that cross happened, the price was around $15, $17, and then went all the way up to $56, right? So if we just kind of use that same logic, we'll just take a look here. Was that November 2020? Gonna have to go out to the monthly time frame. It'll be easier here. So November 2020, we were right here. So we had the golden cross right around there, and then we went up 300%. So if the golden cross is about to occur here in the next couple of weeks and months, we'll just use where we're at now. 300% would bring us up to around that $12 area. So again, I easily see this thing at $5 to $10 into the end of the year. Hopefully that helps. Hey, Rashid. I just looked at Tilray's last quarter earnings statement, and as I expected, they didn't recognize any inventory write-off or down in MJ segment and led to inflated gross margin in profit. Yep. Thanks for sharing. I didn't see that. I missed that as well, but I'm sure people will appreciate that. Thanks for letting us know. Also, they still have billions in impairments and goodwill they didn't recognize yet. Meantime, Hexo recognized every penny possible in this regard. Hexo's next earnings must be positively shocking. Yeah, well, they're forecasting, I think, positive EPS for Hexo next quarter, which is a massive shift in narrative. analyst consensus, right? But yeah, I do think EXO has more upside potential percentage wise, but I don't think it's going to matter a whole lot if we get reform in the U.S. safe banking, rescheduling, full-blown legalization potentially. I don't expect that to happen anytime soon, but I think that the most likely thing happening is safe banking. We get Wall Street banks and crooks positioned first, right? We know that nothing happens in the world without the JP Morgans, the Goldman Sachs, and the Morgan Stanleys of the world. So safe banking will allow them to start playing in the space. And once they can get positioned, then we get it descheduled. We get, potentially rescheduled into the same category as tobacco and alcohol. And then once the big banks are positioned and we uplist, then we have reschedule take effect. Then we get full-blown legalization. But yeah, they're forecasting positive 1 cent on EPS. So big change from negative $1.94 back in March of this year to potential positive EPS and cash flow positive. And what did BNN Bloomberg tell us? They expected Tilray and Hexo to be the first among its peers in Canada. Tilray already did it. So is this the time Hexo does it? Certainly looking that way. But I would have to agree. I think the worst is behind us in Hexo. And I'm not too worried about, I said I wasn't worried about these earnings either way, the ones that just occurred, and it turned out to be a non-event. And actually the day after its earnings, CGC and Tilray were down more than Hexo. And the ones I'm looking at are the earnings here in December. So it's tentative for the 19th. The last two December earnings were December 14th. So expected around then. Let's just take a look at make sure it's not a weekend. So December 14th is a Wednesday. So that could very well fall on December 14th. Maybe that week though. Maybe somewhere between the 12th and the 16th. Could even happen on the 19th because that is what it's tentative at the moment. What's it saying here on TradingView? 19th as well. And 19th on a Monday. We know that they just reported earnings on a Monday for the last quarter. So yeah, I would say somewhere between that 14th to the 19th range, but we'll just say 12th to the 19th is the most likely. But that lines up with the lame duck session and a potential end of year rally in the broader market, which would be tailwinds. And then if we get safe banking passed, rescheduling, then that could bode well for a nice earnings report, right? We could see a massive boost up in the stock price if all that were to occur simultaneously. So again, that's why I wasn't worried about this earnings that just passed, because the market still was in a bear market, MJ sector, and we still had weakness in the broader market. We didn't have the Fed pivot. They just raised by another 75 basis points. And again, that's why I didn't care, right? I didn't care, but not just Hexos, any individual companies, because we know that we need monthly uptrends to confirm. And CGC is one of the leaders in the space, right? We can use that as a benchmark, and it's very close to confirming a monthly uptrend. Could easily do so over the next couple of months. And then again, Hexo's earnings in December and then into 2023 are going to have a lot more impact, in my opinion. But personally, I think back half of 2023, Hexo is just going to absolutely, we're going to see massive, gains and just lives being changed, right? The great thing about falling 99% on Tilray from all-time highs, right? If we just take a look from February 2021 highs, Tilray's down 96%. And then from all-time highs, Tilray's down 99%. Same thing with Hexo, right? From February 2021 highs, it is down 98%. And then from the all-time highs, down 99%, right? So pretty much same thing. They're both working together, number one and number two. And the great thing about dropping 99% is this is where generational wealth is made, right? This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. We're only going to legalize it once. And I've never been more bullish. And like I said, you can't have 100x gains or 1000x gains without these absurdly low prices and these drop-offs, right? And the same thing happened with Amazon, right? And Amazon wasn't selling an illegal Schedule 1 drug, right? There's still some countries that offer the death penalty just for simple possession. And if we go back to Amazon, which wasn't selling illegal drugs, after the .com bubble, it dropped 95%, right? And then that was like the last time that Amazon ever dropped 95% because of the fact that the market cap was getting so high. Like if Amazon were to drop 95% from the all-time highs, we'd be down at like $7. That's after the, post split. Could that happen? Maybe. Do I think it would? No, because of the fact that the market cap's in the trillions, right? So it's just not very likely. I could see it drop 50%, 60%, maybe 70%. I could see this thing at around below $50. But anything can happen, right? If SPY is going to do something like this, right? Which means from current levels, we could still drop another 36%. What's the rule of thumb that I always say? If SPY drops 1%, expect individual names to drop me 3 or 4%. So what's 3 or 4 times negative 30? That's 90%, right? So if we drop 90% on Amazon, that would bring us down to around $25. That could happen. Between $20 and $25. And then on monthly support here, we have nothing until 81. And then after 81 is 65. And then after 65, we have no real clear level until 35. And then after 35, 23.70. So it's possible. We're not even monthly oversold yet. But again, it's not just everybody says, oh, I can't believe Hexo and Tilray down 90 and MJ, right? Even True Leaves of the world, MSOS at all-time lows. What's a name like Cresco, for example? From its highs in February 2021, it's down 85%, right? And these are good companies. Everybody says, oh, they have great financials, great fundamentals, but it doesn't matter if the whole sector is trending lower and the common theme is 80 to 90% of downside since February 2021 highs. It doesn't matter how profitable they are or how strong the finances are. It's the whole sector moves together, right? Because of it being so nascent. But again, look at Netflix from the beginning of the year, right? Everybody says, oh, crypto and MJ are the most riskiest things on the planet. Well, you might not be wrong, and I would say you are correct. Look where we topped on Netflix in November of 2021. That was the all-time high and peak, and then the bubble popped and we dropped 76% in 182 days in 6 months, right? So 6 months, we lost nearly 80%. So it's not just MJ. Everything is risky. It's the stock market, right? How about SQ? Yeah, I was looking at that the other day, actually. So Block, formerly known as Square. We've already seen the EMA 12 and 26 bear cross, and we're starting the monthly bounce. It looks like 63.44 was the high of last month, so 63.70 is the high of this month. So we are starting the monthly bounce, but we're still in a monthly downtrend with lower highs and lower lows. And we're not yet monthly oversold. So again, lining up with my excuse me, I have a drink of water here. Lining up with my thinking that we could see a little bit more weakness over the next couple of weeks while we search a temporary bottom on the S&P 500. Maybe this thing comes down and touches monthly oversold, but still in a monthly downtrend with lower highs and lower lows. So anything under 93.19 on this monthly bounce is just a monthly lower high. But if we can come up, form a high, and then a higher low and a higher high, then we would be back in a monthly uptrend. But with that being said, just from current levels to monthly resistance in EMA 12 there, that's about 55% of upside. So it's looking really good in terms of the weekly moving averages. We did close right at the 10-week, right below the 10-week moving average there at 60.11. And the 10-week moving average is 60.31. We are bullish, though. We had a bull cross of the stochastic in the MACD. So I'm a little bearish on the short term, bullish medium term, and then bearish on the long term because of the fact that we could see this happen on the S&P. But if we can close a weekly candle, like I said, we didn't close over the 10-week moving average this week. So I think that we could potentially see some weakness over the next week or two, and then look to form a bottom. And then if we can close the 10-week candle over on the weekly time frame over that 10-week moving average, we'd have all systems go there in terms of the weekly macro. But in terms of the moving averages, we already had a bear cross of the 50 and the 100 and the 200 weekly moving averages. So we got that out of the way, but again, not ruling out one more potential leg down. Maybe this thing goes back to around $50, and then we set a temporary bottom along with the broader market, and then a massive end of year rally. You're getting close to seeing a golden cross as well, with the 50 below the 200 coming up through would be a golden cross. But we couldn't get over the 50 we have the 50-day moving average there at 60.97, and we were at 60.11. So again, unable to close above it. So a little weaker. I'm a little bearish here in the short term, more bearish than bullish for sure. And then medium term bullish and long term bearish. So if you're looking at this one, like I said, expect maybe a little bit more downside, around $55 to $50 over the next couple of weeks while we search a temporary bottom in the broader market. And then if we get that massive end of year rally, don't be surprised if this thing goes back to $100 and retests monthly resistance there at 93.19. 100 psychological also lines up with the EMAs. Hopefully that helps. Do you think the S&P 500 will take one more leg down, pulling MJ down with it, or do you think MJ starts trending up regardless into the lame duck session with hopes of Safe Plus? Yeah, so that Safe Plus banking bill and expungement bill, I think that it all depends on how fast we drop in the S&P 500, right? If the S&P craters 5% or 10%, it's probably going to bring MJ down with it. But again, like I showed you on CGC's got a ton of room, right? So if SPY drops 10% on average, we might see some individual MJ names drop 30% because it's usually 3 times as much. If we drop 30% on CGC, we'd just be at this monthly support here and not even the 52-week low. It's all about the 52-week low at 213. So even if we drop 30%, we still have the opportunity for a monthly trend change. So I do think that it would more than likely drop with it. It all depends on news too, right? If we have no more news and SPY's weak next week, over the next couple of weeks, MJ is probably going to follow it. But if we hear some news about safe banking potentially getting passed or rescheduling and uplisting to the NYSE and the NASDAQ while the S&P is bearish, then it could trend the other way. I think it could easily go the other way, right? But if we have no news developments over the next couple of weeks and SPY's weak, expect MJ to follow suit and to trend lower. But the great thing about the S&P 500 is that we're likely going to see a bottom formed over the next couple of weeks. And then, like I said, because of how overextended DXY is, and because we haven't consolidated on the monthly time frame now in 10 months, that is going to bode well for an end of year stock and crypto rally, just like this video that I just did. So if you want to see my more thoughts on that, it's a fairly short video, only 8 minutes. I'll go check that out. I just posted it. And that'll go into my thoughts into the dollar and the DXY and the potential end of year rally in the market. But great question. But I do think that next year, if the S&P 500 sees this happen, so if we start to trend lower, I think that MJ could outperform the broader market, and we could actually enter a new bull market while crypto and tech stocks enter a bear market. I've been saying for a while now that I don't think MJ is going to enter a sustained multi-year bull market until tech stocks and crypto top out. And that's because this whole stock market rally was driven by crypto and tech, right? And MJ didn't really participate. So the fact that MJ didn't participate, and that we could see 2023, we could see Germany legalize, New York come online for rec sales, and then a ton of other states looking to legalize here as well here into the fall. We could easily see MJ outperform. But like I said, in the short term, we could see MJ drop as a result of the broader market weakness. But then into the end of the year, could see a massive broader market and crypto and stock rally, which would be really great for MJ stocks. And if we get that lame duck session, any safe plus banking, then we could see easily 100 to 300% gains on a lot of our MJ names. Seems like some really easy money in shorting technology stocks. Microsoft, Tesla, also Walmart is looking like a hell of a short. HD low. Yeah. So let's just bring that up. I was looking at Home Depot and Walmart. Yeah, so absolutely, right? So Netflix dropped like 80%, and then Walmart from its low only dropped like 26%. But Walmart's confirming a monthly uptrend here with a low, high, higher low, and higher high. We just need that follow through, but we could see EMA 12 and 26 bear cross, which would mean a lot more downside. But yeah, I would agree with you. This thing's looking like a hell of a short for sure. And then in terms of HD, monthly EMA 12 and 26 bear cross yet to occur as well. And then we have no support until about 237. After 237, nothing until March 2020 lows there at 132. So yeah, definitely a hell of a short. Microsoft, I would say Apple's a really good short too, because it's pretty far away from its EMA 12 and 26 bear cross as well. And from the all-time highs, it's only down 30%. So if the average is around, 60 to 70%, that would put us down around $70 on Apple, and we have no monthly support after 101 and 100 psychological. We have no monthly support down to $52. So I could easily see this thing dropping another 50-60%. And again, haven't even seen the EMA 12 and 26 bear cross in the monthly, so I would agree. Tesla, I could see that thing easily below $100 as well. We have a monthly head and shoulders as well, with the right shoulder, head, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. And if you take the measured move here, just a rough move, that says we could go easily down to around $85. And we have no support after 179. We have nothing until $23. So yeah, I could, and EMA 12 and 26 bear cross yet to occur there as well. So I could easily see this thing back down below $100 and nowhere near monthly oversold. Monthly oversold would probably put us under $100. January coming, Hexo, when reach $1. So again, doesn't really matter. Not worried about that in the slightest, because we already have approval to do a reverse split. So up to a 14-1. So even if they don't meet the $1 threshold, but again, what did I just say? They're forecasting positive EPS. If that were to occur, this stock will light up like the 4th of July and Canada Day, right? So if that happens, this is December 19th. They would have a whole month and a week essentially, because they have until January 25th. And if we get a broader market stock rally, like I said, I'm expecting a massive end of year rally in stocks and crypto. If we get that coupled with positive earnings in December, coupled with a lame duck session and potential safe banking and potential rescheduling, Hex will easily be up over $1 in my opinion. If I had to guess, I would say that it'll get there organically before January 25th. And then we have earnings in March. So after December, we have earnings in March. So again, I'm thinking that we'll see it get organically back over $1 and regain that listing requirement with the NASDAQ. Even if it doesn't, though, they can do a reverse split. It ain't going to get delisted. So to be honest, I probably wouldn't even put any more thought into it. I just chuck it out of your memory bank. Don't even think about it again is what I would recommend, because it doesn't matter. And the last time they did a reverse split, the stock went from $2 to $11. So maybe we should hope it does a reverse split. And, you look at SNDL. SNDL did a reverse split and everybody's like, oh, well, see, I told you reverse splits are bearish. It did a reverse split and it dropped 40%. Yeah, but we're in the broader markets week. Fed's raising interest rates like crazy. We have a war in Ukraine and Russia, and we're still in a bear market. The difference is with Hexo in its last split in October of 2020, there's where the split occurred right here, December 2020. And then it went from, like I said, about $2 all the way up to $11. But the difference there is the sector was entering a new bull market. So SNDL did a split with all this geopolitical bearish narrative and events occurring, and MJ is still in a bear market. Whereas if MJ is potentially entering a new bull market again, and Hexo does another reverse split, it could be another repeat of the last time they did a reverse split. Plus, they revised it down from a 1 for 8 to a 1 for 4 because the stock and the sector started to go crazy to the upside, right? So again, I think we need to cut them a little bit of slack, because they were going to do an 8-to-1 reverse split and then they did a 4-to-1. So even if they did another reverse split, I don't think it's going to be necessary. I think it's going to organically get there. But Hexo will not be delisted, in my opinion. I'm 99.9% sure of that. So again, yeah, I probably wouldn't put any more thought into that. If Schumer tries to, with social justice agenda, safe, it will die. Yeah. Again, very, very, skeptical with anything that they say, because it's been all empty promises. I think Biden probably has the best chance of getting things done through executive order. But yeah, this lame duck session could be good for MJ. I'll see. Gonna be interesting. Thanks for your comment. What are your thoughts on the Verano chart and how you feel they compare to other MSOs if Safe Plus happens? And thanks for the regular Hexo updates. Yeah, you're welcome. No problem at all. Thanks for the comment. So yeah, I'm bullish on Verano long term, but still in a monthly downtrend, monthly inside bar at the moment. So still haven't started the monthly bounce. We do have earnings tentative for mid-November on November 14th. We want to verify that. I haven't vetted it, but essentially we have no resistance at the monthly time frame up to about 936. and it's a monthly inside bar at the moment. But we are potentially changing the weekly trend change. We're looking for a potential weekly trend change, but still pretty bearish, still unable to get above EMA 12. We need to confirm a weekly uptrend and a close above that EMA 12. If we can do that, we'll probably see a bull cross of these EMAs. Let's speed this up a little bit here as well, because I wanted to try to keep this under an hour at the bare minimum, and we're well over an hour here. So VRNO on CSE, stochastic and bull cross on the stochastic and the MACD, and we closed above the 10-week moving average there last week. So this is looking really, really good. In terms of the moving averages on the weekly, we have nothing nearby until the 50 weekly. They're at 10.69. So I could easily see this thing back up to $10 if we get positive momentum and regulation in the US in a lame duck session into the end of the year. But again, I'm more focused on the NASDAQ and NYSE listed stocks. So like the Canopies, the Tilrays, the Hexos, the Sundials, because that's where the masses are going to play, right? If we get uplisting news, we're probably not going to see, US stocks will go up in my opinion, but we're not going to see billions of dollars enter those names until after they're on the NYSE and the NASDAQ. So I think the opportunity right now is in the NASDAQ listed names, the ones like the aforementioned ones that I just said, and then leading into after they actually uplist. And generally when they uplist, like Canopy did, when it uplisted to a US major exchange, it sold off and then it went on a crazy run. So I think something similar could happen is we run in the US names, we get uplisting, then we see a sell-off, and then we see the biggest run in history. So I do own a lot of different MSOs, but I own way more Canadian LPs dollar-wise than I do US MSOs, just for that's fact. But once we see uplisting occur, I'll be looking to diversify out of those LPs and buying a little bit more of those MSOs. And like I said, a lot of names are probably going to target their 200-day moving average here in the end of the year. And that's at 978 on VRNO, which also lines up with that 50 weekly moving average there at 1069. So very, very confident that we could see this thing at around $10 here into the end of the year. But it's looking really good. Brother, I think Hexo is going to cents. What do you think? Well, it's already in the cents. It's in 18 cents. So it's a penny stock, if that's what you mean. We're forming a nice base of support though. And, I've got a buy order at 15 cents. I'm okay if it hits. I'm okay if it doesn't hit. My bags are packed. I've got over 50,000 Hexo shares, so I'm okay either way. But that'll be an offer I can't refuse. If the S&P 500 is weak over the next couple of weeks, we could see this thing back around 16 cents to 15 cents if that were to occur. But then, like I said, over the next couple of weeks, we form a bottom, and then we see a massive end of year rally and lame duck session reform in the US. That is just a buying opportunity, in my opinion. But yeah, we're already in cents, but maybe you meant under 10 cents. I don't think that's going to happen. That would mean the market cap would be well below 100 million. But yeah, let's just take a look. General. So market cap right now is 147 million Canadian. So yeah, we'd be well under 100 million at that point. I just don't see that happening. If you take a look at like a name like Canara, on here we go. So Canara, very, very small. They're a producer in Quebec as well, but they don't even have nationwide distribution yet. They just finally got entry into BC. They're still not here in Alberta, and their market cap is 92 million. So it's hard to imagine Hexo down at Canara's market cap. And if it were, wow, what a buying opportunity. Yeah, thanks for your comment. If safe is mentioned and pot stocks go parabolic, would you swing trade them and then reload? I feel like that has been the pattern with them, then pulling back for prolonged periods of time. No, I probably wouldn't. I feel like, as the saying goes, the longer the base, the higher in space. So how long have we been basing now? Multiple years. So wouldn't it suck if you've been waiting essentially since Canada legalized, you've been waiting 4 years for MJ to start entering a new bull market and price discovery and all names hitting new all-time highs and leading into the biggest catalyst of our lifetime, US legalization. Imagine if you sold and then we we trended to all-time highs in new price discovery and the US legalized over the next year or two, right? You'd be one unhappy camper if that were to happen. So for me, I don't need the money that I have in MJ. I have more dollars in crypto right now, more money invested dollar-wise in crypto. I don't need the money that I have in MJ. I've got a 6-figure cash position. I've got mutual funds. I've got a real estate portfolio. I don't need the money. It's money that I'm prepared to lose. I don't think I'm going to lose it. I know that triggers people when they say, oh, why would you say that? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, because I really don't care. It's money that I didn't break the golden rule. I never invested any more than I was willing to lose. I'm diversified. I own more than one MJ stock. I own Canadian MJ producers. I own American MJ producers. I own retailers. I own ETFs, right? So, and again, that money that I have invested, I just don't need it right now. Everybody's situation is different. So I'm not sure about, your situation, Chris, or anybody else that's listening to my voice at the moment. But maybe that's a lesson for next time as well. But I'm still, I still got tons of cash on the side. I'm going to be looking to rotate out of altcoins in the next move there, and then buy more beaten down MJ. And yeah, I'm prepared to wait 5 to 10 years if I have to. But no, I wouldn't recommend doing it. The longer the base, the higher in space. And we've been basing for many, many years. And I do think the next time we enter a bull market on MJ, Germany set to legalize. We have New York coming online, probably, arguably, one of the most important states in the US. That's where Wall Street is, right? So yeah, I certainly wouldn't want to. Timing the market is generally never a good idea. If you look at what the data says, just buying and holding is usually the best strategy. But if we're at all-time lows and new all-time lows, timing the market is probably the worst idea ever. If we were at all-time highs and 52-week highs, then yeah, timing the market is probably better because you want to get out before a massive crash. Whereas now I think time in the market is better than timing the market, right? Unless you're, going short at 52-week highs and all-time highs on MJ, then time in the market's probably better. But, not very many people go short, right? especially in MJ. A lot of people just only know how to hit the buy button. Hexo is so gonna pamp in 2023. Yeah, I'm very confident in it. I have no concerns. But again, I've been adding to my Tilray position in case we do see a merger. I've got 13 or 14 different MJ positions now. I've got a mix of picks and shovels, some retailers. I got some ETFs in there. I've got American and Canadian producers. Not worried at all, but I would have to agree. I think Hexo is gonna be a shining star. What's your opinion on Bitcoin mining stocks during this month? Again, could see a little bit more weakness here in the next couple of weeks, but then a massive rally into the end of the year. We could see stablecoin regulation as well with regards to the US. So that could bode well again for MJ stocks for crypto stocks. Like I said, those I already mentioned the mining stocks. Were you the one who? Yeah, no, it was Sycamore style. Okay, yeah. So if you go back to the beginning of the Q&A in the AMA, I did go over those. So it is looking like we could see a bottom. I would encourage looking at Hive because Hive's right at its support. So if you're interested in those names, Hive is, again, and I'm not talking about a fundamental perspective. I'm just looking at it from a purely technical perspective. And right now, Hive is right at its monthly support. So we had a low there of 282. We hit a low of 280. So nice bottom fish opportunity of support. And you can set your stop under, 270, maybe even 250. You can essentially risk 10 to 15% to make upwards of 100 to 200%, right? If we go back to monthly resistance. So I think Hive is a really good a really good opportunity here. And don't be surprised if we do see a little bit more weakness though over the next couple of weeks while we search a bottom in the broader market. And then, like I say, massive opportunity into the end of the year. All right, it's been fun going to end it there. Thanks for joining us on The Pursuit of Wealth. It's Rod with Powell Group. As always, I appreciate everybody's contribution. And if you could smash the like on your way out, if you think I earned it today, I would appreciate it. Take the bell, you'll be notified on any future live streams or when I post a new video. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend. And next week's going to be interesting. As a reminder, I'm going to be away on vacation, going to Vancouver with my girlfriend. So I'll be gone from Tuesday to Friday. I know it's kind of poor timing. Right, Tuesday's November 8th, the elections, midterms in the US. So I won't be as active, but I'll probably be bringing my laptop with me. So for for those in the Power Group private community, I won't be doing those live streams before the market opens and closes, but I will try to get videos out as frequent as I can. But going to end it there. Always a pleasure. Like I said, I hope you have a great weekend and a week ahead. I'll try to get as much content out as possible. Thank you, Rod. Have a good night. You as well. Thanks, everybody. See you again on the next video.